Okay, perhaps it's finally now time to get beyond a street dream and the saga of what's going on with a Young Thug and ATL. Young Thug, aka Mr. All of Us in Atlanta Take DYCK, and I don't mean Y, I mean I. Yeah, so I know you're interested in the drama, and there's so much and it's so all over the place. And from my own understanding, I'm going to try to work through it here verbally. Now, I think we can all agree we're seeing a lot of social structures fall apart. Donald Trump is covering up whatever he did with Epstein right in front of us, and no one's, I mean, what are you really going to do about it, right? So we're watching rap, I think, kind of end. Pop culture, a lot of the things in pop culture ending. Streaming, right? If you're 15, you're 18, they're voting with their eyeballs in the time out of their life. They're watching streaming. Young Thug has lost the plot. He was a big deal when he went to jail. And just like Bobby Shmurda, now, Young Thug was obviously a much bigger artist that had made a bunch of hit songs, so I'm not really comparing him to Bobby Shmurda, but in the sense of that whole, oh, I stood tall in jail, well, which Thug didn't really do, that just might make people sort of like you, but that doesn't make them want to listen to your song. And when it all comes down to is the music, and I think music is not going to go away, but sure seems like the streamers are bigger than the rappers, or that changeover is happening right now. And the whole Atlanta thing is in a turmoil. Everyone's calling everyone a snitch. Gunna, I guess, is the one. Is he the one releasing these phone calls? Did he somehow get of Thug? And of course, the interrogation of Young Thug has come out. Now, I will say, and I haven't listened to it all, and you guys can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong. From what I heard of Thug talking, and I'm not someone who listens to Young Thug. I don't here to defend Young Thug or anything. But this public humiliation ritual that everybody now is supposed to go through of being found out to be a snitch is bizarre. But in the case of Young Thug, I heard him say me and Pee Wee Roscoe would bring weed to Wayne. He was trying to convey to law enforcement, no, we're cool with Wayne. There's no way Pee Wee Roscoe would have shot up his tour bus, even though Pee Wee Roscoe was convicted of it twice, and Pee Wee Roscoe shooting up Wayne's tour bus corresponded with Thug replacing Wayne and putting out the Barter 6, which that was what took Thug to that next level of actually being a mega artist. That was we saw a real live organized crime in the music industry move. Birdman kept Wayne and them's money, and then he had Pee Wee Roscoe, Thug, whatever, shoot up his Wayne's tour bus as part of an intimidation thing. To this day, I don't know what portion of Wayne's, I guess Wayne broke off a chunk of money, but he never got everything he had coming. I mean, wow, I was going to say the rap industry, but it's not. It's the music industry. You guys can go on my channel. I've done several. I just did one about Clive Davis. I had done one in the past about Morris Levy, stuff in the 70s, 80s. The music industry has been rife with gangsterism. The story I did recently with Clive Davis got in trouble in the 70s about a bunch of stuff, but the way his name got in it was somebody he had working for him, as a vice president at CBS Records, who had this vague job title, got indicted in a huge mafia heroin thing. So real heavy-duty gangsters have been worse than LA gang members, like 50, 60-year-old Italian mobsters who have access to H coming off the boat and the plane from cross seas. Like, there's people that are as serious and as predatory as it gets, have been involved in the music industry all along. So this is really nothing new, but seeing it happen right in front of your eyes is amazing. If we remember back from and I know this story here does not, like I said, I'm trying to work through all these factoids in my head, so take notes, pay attention. Maybe you can chat GPT this and help us formulate a cohesive plot line of this whole Atlanta thing. But so the heart of let's stick to Thug's so-called snitching. He said, the only thing I heard him say he was talking a lot of chatty gossip shit about a lot of people, but him saying, we used to bring drugs to Wayne. So what? Like, that's a cover story. He was trying to do them a favor. That's serious criminals often talk to you can get out of trouble and not get anyone else in trouble. You can protect your friends and yourself by talking to the police. Sometimes, now you better know how to do it, but it happens all the time, because you got to tell them when shit is happening. You got to tell them something. The key is to control the narrative, because especially local cops, they're not that sophisticated. You can turn a real serious crime into something that's not that big of a deal. And just like the cartel's doing, like when the police come, if everyone would just work together and say, okay, well, we're caught up in something, so you're going to take this charge, and you're going to do this, and you're going to take this deal, and you're going to get on the stand, and this, and you're going to say this, and then everyone comes out as good as possible. That's what the real gangster stuff is. Thug was, unless, again, there's some other stuff than him saying me and Pee Wee Roscoe brought Wayne drugs. That's him trying to help him. But Thug clearly is unable to make music now that he can't be out of his mind high all the time, and that his semi-gang YSL, that whole world, that slime life world of like we're high all the time and blood references and all that. Now that's been, he can't exist in that concoction, which is to get into the mental state where you're able to like make big hit after hit and to go and tour. I don't know how many of you guys have ever, like, I've done a lot of things in entertainment. I've thrown parties. I've been guest lecturer in university classes. I've performed. I mean, I've rapped. I've done all type of stuff in front of large groups of people, all different types of people. Like, I'm able to do it, but not that many people. Like, and even for me, you got to get into certain, to be on YouTube and for me to talk all the time. And I walk around. I'm not in hiding. I don't have bodyguards. I see people. You got to be in a certain mental state to be able to do any of this stuff. And for Thug, and to make that type of music, he had a very finely tuned concoction of being high, of having certain people around him, of doing certain things. And now that exact little spell, that formula can't be used, he ain't making no music or nothing that's making any noise. And it's not really surprising. They took him out of circulation. You know, if Fannie Willis and them's goal was to say break up the gang stuff in the Atlanta rap scene, well, you could say they may not have sent a lot of people to prison, but they succeeded in that because I get YFN Lucci. I think he's out because I'm friends with some people that's friends with him. I don't know if he dropped any music. I think he's working on music, but Thug has been unable to recapture the magic. Do you think he's going to recapture the magic? I don't. I think he had a very finely tuned concoction, and that's now gone. Now, what is fucked up with Thug, I don't think per se he snitched when I mean, that stuff of him saying about we bring Wayne as drugs, that was trying to protect Roscoe. But him telling his brother to do the same thing Gunna did, and then in the end, Thug pretty much doing the same thing Gunna did, but yet he had all that shit to talk about Gunna that he can't now walk back. If Thug was more of a man, he could have just said, you know what, and it would have been true. We were all facing life or 20 years in prison. I'm sitting in the jail cell going crazy, and I said some fuck shit about my friend Gunna. I shouldn't have. I take it back. They could have got right back together. But now, too much time has passed. Gunna spent his time working out, plotting, and making music, and now he's the one on top. But how much demand? Like, have they burned out this whole genre of music? Because if you take away the fact that, oh, well, there really is crimes going on and some of these guys really are gangsters and their stuff, if you remove all that, because now they've all narrowly avoided all these murder charges and a lot, little babies on pins and needles, does it make the music less exciting? Well, sure it does, because they're really not even making music, because none of them play an instrument. It's not very musical. And I'm sick of people telling you I'm a real street lead. You even got producers saying that. Who cares? Who cares? Make a hit song. If Tekashi would have been able to make hit songs, y'all would be riding around listening to Tekashi songs right now. But Tekashi was a concoction himself. He had people writing the songs, and like, once you removed, again, like Thug, once you remove all the things that go into making a pop star, and if the pop star is a violent street gang rapper and all that stuff, when you take those parts away, it's what they themselves was doing is a small part of it, and they'll never recapture the glory. Now, apparently Gunna's a guy that's able to make songs. He probably was helping Thug, it would appear, because without Gunna's still doing what he was doing without Thug, but Thug's having a hard time recapturing his old glory. And let's refresh our memory that, again, to go back to what I was saying, Thug, and in the indictment, there's that high-ranking sex, money, murder, blood in the Georgia prison that supposedly Thug is up under. Donovan Nut Thomas was from he was Inglewood, I guess, or something out there in Atlanta. There was some type of internal Bloods versus Bloods, who's going to control these record labels. Now I wonder, well, I ain't trying to figure nothing out, but I wonder, well, I ain't going to get into all that, but I would like to know, why have none of the executives, I've said this before, if Thug or Lil Baby or any of these rappers, if you're making them responsible, oh, you had a rental car, well, we're going to charge you with murder because someone used it to shoot somebody. Why aren't the higher executives? Why is Leo Cohen or Kevin Liles or a lot of these people, why are they not questioned? And I bet you they're on pins and needles too. They know that their time is going to come. This stuff can't keep going on. So I think you're going to see a lot less. The street rap will be kind of more comedic, or like, that's why they're rapping about just getting high and that. But like the real intricate, oh, we're really doing gangster stuff and we really in the street and all that. Atlanta, the Atlanta power structure was like, oh no, we're not going to have that. So even though they made it out of that court case, and he made it, saved himself for the time being from any jail time, he did a couple years. More significant Thug may have a prison sentence in his near future because at the rate he's going, I wouldn't be surprised if he violates. And I'm not wishing that on him, but I'm just saying, like, it wouldn't obviously boggle anybody's mind. He's really isolated himself. He was the epicenter of the Atlanta music scene. Now he's on the outside looking in. Now let's touch on him going at Lil Baby for working with QC, Quality Control P. Quality Control, well, they're the winners out of this whole big thing. If you didn't know, they sold the company and the rights to the masters for $300 million to a Korean company. So they probably got out at the peak. He says, I'm a tax-paying citizen. I'm not in the street. So I don't know if QCP presented himself as being, I mean, he didn't really present himself as anything. He had a record label. If you didn't know, the reason that he was calling QCP a rat is that a guy killed P's good friend, and there's people with elaborate stories on it. I forget the exact details, but long story short, he saw him at the mall. He told the police on the guy. I'm not sure if, I think the guy ended up getting killed separately or something. I don't remember, but QC definitely told the police, hey, the guy that shot my friend, I see him. But he doesn't care. He's like, so what? I'm a law-abiding citizen. He's not even entertaining it. Remember, they got $300 million off other people's violent antics. So I guess they're the smart ones. Rallo's another one that has a reason to be upset. But see, he still gets a lot of love. Rallo actually did stuff for people. I went to that apartment complex right after Rallo was locked up. My young lady friend took me over in that neighborhood and to where that apartment complex is, and that's a real thing. Rallo looked out for a lot of people. And again, I wasn't that super interested in the intricacies of somebody, did they snitch or not, but help me understand what Rallo, didn't he say he was going to give the Fed some info, but it was false? Like he was just trying to spin them to get himself less time without doing anything to anybody else? Again, is that snitching? Like, where are you guys getting your rules from? Someone on YouTube? One of these LA gang members who tell you you're not supposed to, if it's 10 enemies in the cell, you're supposed to go in and get beat up, and even if the other people snitch on you, you can't say anything back, or all these bizarre self-destructive rules. The LA gang rules seem like they're designed to purposely, it's like a tightrope, like how long can you run till you fall off into the burning fiery pit? I don't know how you would make it through a LA gang career, because they just sit around and try to pick each other off. Oh, you messed up. DP, we're going to put you off. But that's another topic. I don't know. So all these different cities' so-called street rules are now this strange pick and choose melange on the internet. If the only reason you should be involved in any crime, if you are low income, you got no other opportunities, you and a couple of your friends and family get to some money, do not waste it. Do not throw it up in the air. Do not buy pussy with it. Do not run to the white man's mall and waste your money on his marked up goods. And the only loyalty you owe to is to whoever's loyal to you. Finishing up the Beyond Street Dreams documentary about the Brown family. They had multiple heroin and yayo kingpin runs. So some of the people I interviewed one of their couriers, a woman, Shauna, shout out to Shauna. Her and her mother got caught in San Francisco. The courier was coming from Pakistan. He got flicked with 10 bricks, so he told the police about them, but they were showing up. They didn't have to show up with money. Everything was on consignment, but they got hit for conspiracy. Shauna did like 3-4 years. She was like 20 years old with a 2-year-old son. Her mother was like 40. She did like 7, 8 years. But you know why? Courtney Brown Sr., $200,000 each for each of their lawyers. Plus bought them each a couple of houses on the east side of Detroit to have when he got home. Took care of the son, the little baby, while they were in prison. And the whole time the mother, who was a heroin addict, the whole 7 years or whatever she was in the women's prison, she stayed. They was cutting open Vanity Fair magazines, laying in grams of heroin, pasting them together, mailing them into her. So her whole 7 years, she bought commissary for the whole pod and sat in front of the TV nodding. Now, I'm not promoting that, but I'm just saying, that's why people don't tell, because they get taken what? Care of. And they had another guy got caught in New York picking up the bag. Schoolyard George. Schoolyard George. Once again, the courier from Pakistan got compromised. He told the feds, I won't give you a hard time, just send me somewhere warm. And they did send him to his home state of Florida to do his 20 years. And he did about 16 years, did not roll over on them. And we think he's passed on now, but up till not too many years ago, the Brown family would go around every couple times a year and find Schoolyard George and give him a street pension. Here you go, $4,000 or $5,000. Mind you, they spent hundreds of thousands when the case happened. They gave him hundreds of thousands, and then so Young Thug was playing with the snitching stuff to promote himself, and now it's come back to haunt him because people are holding him accountable to the smallest degree. He turned out not to be a good leader, but he's a whole gimmick. I mean, all that dress stuff, but y'all liked it. You bought into it. You watched it, and now, so I may not be talking to you, but maybe I am. So many people are interested or obsessed with this idea of these, there's these gay public humiliation Illuminati rituals. Well, they're not from the Illuminati, they're from you, the public. You guys are like making it a requisite part. Oh, we'll love you for a while, and then we're gonna humiliate you and this and that. All the stuff with P and Rallo was kind of behind the scenes Atlanta stuff, because Rallo really was never much of an artist. I mean, he just spent a lot of money on World Star Hip Hop. He paid Vlad to get interviewed, so he never had any real motion. He just had some notoriety. P is an industry person, but I would imagine behind the scenes, I mean, between all the people that quality control and Rallo messes with in the streets and quality control in the industry, those people are probably like, fuck Thug. So he's going to have a hard time getting back on the horse. His formula of being high and having this gang life around him is gone. But remember, them guys only had a state RICO. All this stuff that came out about all these gang stuff from prison and getting Wayne's tour bus shot up, I swear to God, Birdman is probably on pins and needles. Now, no federal agency wants to embarrass themselves like the feds that grabbed Diddy, right? That was an embarrassment. There's been a lot of embarrassments. These high-end lawyers are really good. There's a reason people get big money lawyers, because they will spank the government. But not always. Not always. We'll see. We see interesting. So Dirk is the next big thing that's coming up. Seems like a lot of these guys' stuff is kind of interlocking. Is there gonna be some mega hip hop RICO? What do you guys think about that? What's your thoughts? Will there in the next 2 years be like a mega hip hop RICO that interlocks a lot of these different record labels and guys together? I think I'd say there's about a 1/3 chance that there will be. Now, will Birdman get in a RICO? I'd say you have more closer to 50% chance, but Who knows? I feel sorry for Pee Wee Roscoe. He went to prison twice for the same thing. I hope he's done going to prison for his sake. So do you guys think Thug actually, like, is telling the police that, oh, we just brought him his weed to try to get him out of trouble? Do you think that is actually snitching? Or do you think Thug has engendered so much bad blood from talking bad about so many people, and then having his brother make the same deal is gonna, and himself in the end taking a deal? What was the point? And Thug could get violated. Thug better be careful. Will we see less gang stuff in the Atlanta music, or is it just gonna go underground? Is it gonna go away? Are people gonna calm down on that? It's a very enticing gimmick, obviously, to add to your marketing and excitement by including violence. But you're playing with fire. It's a dangerous game. People should focus on trying to make music. But I'm gonna just leave you with this. For those of you that like Al Prophet, you like that I can connect the dots of unexpected historical things. Let's go back to the 70s when outlaw rock, the Allman Brothers, Willie Nelson, was huge. It was hip-hop. Even black pop music has not always been what they've chosen to make the most popular. And believe me, it's all driven by what the corporate entities, out of whatever convenience or agenda they have at that moment, choose to push the button on. There was something called outlaw rock. A lot of it was good. It's like when you're talking about being outlaws. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be gamblers, and it's all stuff about riverboat gambling and robbing trains and blah, blah, blah. Well, the Allman Brothers were the biggest. They were huge. And Greg Allman, the manager of the band, was supplying a lot of yayo and was messing around with this guy that ran what they loosely called the Dixie Mafia, which is in the South, white gangsters that were not Italians, like good old boys, had different serious shady shit going on all around the South. And the Allman Brothers manager was one of them, and Greg Allman testified against him. And the band broke up about it. The rest of his band wouldn't mess with him. So go on my man Scott Bernstein's website, Gangster Report, gangsterreport.com. Well, that's our website, but he makes all the content. It is a paywall, but he has lots of great written content. And read all about the Allman Brothers, Dixie Mafia. So there's never nothing new under the sun. All this crazy stuff that's going on in the music with snitching and prison and RICOs and murders. It's not just a function of black music or black people. This is just the industry, and it's the world we live in. And stop using that phrase black fatigue. That's very racist. Al Prophet, American dope.